Hello and welcome back to the Stronghold. In my recent jump in tier list video, I assured you that jump in was 72% worth it. And, well, that was a lie. Or at least a gross oversimplification. So I am doing this deep dive video to explain to you exactly how worth it is, when it's worth that amount, and why. So, in the immortal words of AJ Pickett, grab yourself a tasty beverage because we are about to get deeply nerdy. But before we get into all that, what do you say we do the awkward thing and promote the channel? Allow me to take this opportunity to invite you to subscribe to the Planeswalker Stronghold for all your new player, free-to-play, budget, and midweek Magic needs. As you can see, we aren't one of these huge channels that fluctuates tons of subscribers on any given day and doesn't even notice. Around here, you matter. Just like these fine folks here, who recently subscribed to the channel and chose to make their subscription public. You see, the YouTube algorithm seems to think that budget arena content doesn't matter. And while I know I can't change that, I think we can. So click the subscribe button to support the channel, and tap the bell icon so you don't miss on an upload, and build a more efficient collection along the way. Now, what were we talking about? Oh, right. All right, so off the bat, that 72% is the odds of getting what I have told you is a good deck out of a pool of 40 possible decks. In this math, it's 29 divided by 40. That comes out to 72.5 if I remember and can do the math correctly in my head. But jump in is so much more complex than that. For instance, how do I define worth it? What do I think this event should be worth? What makes a success? Well, for me, a jump-in event is 1,000 gold, and that pretty evenly equates to buying one basic pack. And in one basic pack, you can reasonably expect to get one rare or a slight chance of a mythic upgrade. You also need to keep an eye on how we're defining good, because just because I think a packet is pretty well put together and the rare is worthwhile, if it doesn't mean anything to you, if you don't want to have that rare in your collection or build around it, it might not be a good deck for you. Similarly, one of the ones that I think is bad might in fact be good for you. In addition, if you have already reached your maximum number of rares, i.e. 4 copies of any individual rare, or you've hit your personal max, like maybe there is a legendary creature that you want to use as a commander, a second copy isn't necessarily doing you a lot of good for that purpose. For me, for instance, on day one with this new bundle of 40 packets, I already had 4 of those 40 packets that I have done what I call drafted out. I have already hit 4 copies of at least one of the rares in that packet. And as such, the value of getting that particular packet for me has gone way down. This is an example of what economists refer to as diminishing returns. Proportionally smaller profits or benefits derived from something as more money or energy is invested into it. It's like when you hit that for the first time and then you spend the rest of your life trying to chase that. Oh, hold on, wait, that's a bad example. Don't do drugs, kids. To put it the way my college Econ 101 professor put it, no matter how cheap or good pizza and beer are, at some point you've had enough. And just because Wizards didn't feel like this was complicated enough, they have let us know that at least one option will be a packet you've never selected in a previous run of the event, unless you've already selected them all at least once. And I hadn't even brought up the fact that we were never really interested in the chances of success. We were interested in the chance of not failing. Now, of course, in a single event, those two numbers are two sides of the same coin. But jump-in isn't really about a single selection. We're really after the odds of not failing 6 times in a row. In my calculations, I'm also making the admitted assumption that the 2 packs that you rejected in your first pick will not be part of your second pick. Now, I don't have access to the data mining to prove this. I will never do enough jump-in events to really know whether this is true or not, but it feels like a pretty valid assumption out there. And in the worst case scenario, if I'm totally wrong, we're underestimating our chances of success, which means we're making more conservative decisions rather than overestimating our chance of success with repetition. So as you can see, the math here can get a little complex, and if you're looking at this on a tiny phone screen and can't read it, good for you. The good news here is if you're using my baseline assumptions and you haven't excluded any of these packs because you already have them, your first run at this is almost 100% likely to give you at least one good rare for your collection. I'm talking like 99.9949% likely to not fail. And that's pretty good. And also in the category of good news, I have zero expectations of any of you out there doing all of this math. And even if you were inclined to do so, I really don't think you need to because, well, that's what I'm here for. After all, this is a YouTube channel about a video game and not a statistics class or a game theory class or any of that nonsense. Now, with that out of the way, I do think there's 3 things you can do pretty simply that will increase the likelihood of you getting a good value out of your jump-in investment, both gold and time. The first is know what's available in the packets. Nobody goes to Vegas and just bets on games they don't understand or have never played before. At least not sober, intelligent people, in my opinion. Number 2, keep track of the rares that are involved in these packets and know what you have. There's no reason to play a game if there's nothing for you to win. And lastly, know what you want. Just because you don't have 4 copies of a particular rare doesn't mean you want it or that it is going to do anything for your collection. Or to simply put it another way, try and be an informed consumer when it comes to your jump-in investment. And with all that having been said, don't forget, smash that like button like Ronnie J would. And no matter where in the world you are watching this from, I hope you have a magical day. And until next time, I'll see you in the arena.